It's day 12 of Bucs training camp, and something that was released today was the unofficial depth chart. And Jenna and I are going over some things that we were kind of surprised to see. For me, it was the offensive line. You know, we knew that Anthony Collins would be on the first team, Evan Dietrich-Smith and DeMar Dotson, and something that Lovie Smith has spoken about many times is the fact that the offensive line is very young. And so they are talented, but they've had to work on their chemistry during training camp. So that's been something that they've been working on, but that has been a big question mark. And keep in mind, there are things that can change. This is a very unofficial depth chart, and it can change. But what was something that you noticed right off the bat when you saw it?
Well, you mentioned the offensive line. The guard position didn't really surprise me as far as, you know, you look at they went with experience. They went with O'Neal Cousins, who had played for offensive line coach George Warhop already. So that, you know, he's familiar with all the concepts that he wants and the type of, you know, offensive line play that he wants. That didn't surprise me. Neither did putting Jamon Meredith out there, but that does not mean that Kadeem Edwards doesn't get out there. I still think that he has a shot to possibly start. He's that rookie out of Tennessee State. Now, I know that he, again, hasn't had that Division I college experience, but I think we've seen enough out of him at camp that he could possibly do that. So he is one to watch there. And, you know, again, I don't see this being anywhere near finalized.
Now, there's definitely some time for some necessary changes, but something else that I saw that kind of surprised me was at the wide receiver position. Obviously, we knew Vincent Jackson would be there, but Chris Owusu was placed on the first team, Mike Evans on the second. We're not going to look too much into it. It's not anything that we should be concerned about. It was just something that we took notice of.
Well, and you know, and typically you see a lot of 3 wide receiver sets. The way this is going to pan out, I mean, unless something catastrophic happens, you're going to have Vincent on the outside, and opposite him is going to be Mike Evans. Chris is probably going to be the slot guy, or at least that's what I'm thinking. You know, this depth chart, if you would have had that type of formation, essentially, then you could easily put, you know, Owusu in there as the third guy and Evans as the second guy. So, you know, I'm not going to read too much into it. Again, I think, you know, we've seen a lot of rookies on here with the exception of Charles Sims. Most of the rookies aren't on the first team, even though they are eventually expected to get there.
Speaking of rookies, something that we saw on the tight end position is Austin Seferian-Jenkins.
Yeah, you know, a little bit interesting because we saw him at camp start out with the 3s, eventually work his way into the first team. But you know, I have noticed, though, that John Embry, the tight ends coach, he's rotating his guys in and out. I mean, I've seen Luke Stocker work with the 3s, and yesterday I saw Luke Stocker, or 2 days ago, Luke Stocker work with the 1s. So I really think that he's just getting guys in and out. I also know that with Seferian-Jenkins, you know, he has to get up to speed a little bit more. He did miss a lot of the offseason, was only here for 4 days. I think he's there, and I think when it's all said and done, he'll make the roster, and, you know, we should be seeing him out on the field quite a bit.
Now, if you haven't had a chance to take a look at the depth chart that we're talking about, go ahead and go to sportstalkflorida.com on the NFL tab, and we'll keep you up to date on all of the Bucs camp news. For Jenna Lane, I'm Amanda Borges.